Hi, I'm Pete Giordano, and thank you in advance for spending your precious time with me. I am delighted and excited to share some of my thoughts on how the interplay between product and go-to-market impacts growth for your startup. This presentation is part 5 of a 7-part series on go-to-market alignment. The focus for this presentation is the 4th critical alignment, model-market alignment. And by model, we mean sales model. If you haven't already done so, I highly recommend watching the introduction and the previous parts on alignments before continuing. Part 2 is market product alignment. Part 3 was market pricing alignment. And part 4, product channel alignment. Each part builds on the next, so it's important to take them in order. So let's get started with model market alignment. And again, by model, we mean sales model. The key point here is that market determines your model. After nailing your pricing down, getting the sales model right is the next most important factor necessary to ultimately reach good unit economics and a growing profitable business. In the second section, we covered how to design your pricing around the customer's willingness to pay, or WTP. There are at least 2 additional factors to consider when determining your sales model, though: unit of value and market size. And we'll look at each of these. So let's take a moment to discuss unit of value and how important it is in determining your sales model. Unit of value was coined by Jerry Chen, a partner at Greylock Partners Venture Capital. In Jerry's words, unit of value is the smallest measurable unit at which your product or service delivers value. Put another way, unit of value is what customers pay for. It's also the unit of scaling when a customer buys more of your product. A unit of value can vary from small to large. For example, a unit of value can be a single unit, such as a single server for VMware or a single user for LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Products like Salesforce and Slack command a higher unit of value. That is, you need a team of people to use the product for its true value to be realized. And in some cases, the unit of value is an entire company. HR solutions such as Gusto or Oracle Apps for an entire company match up with this type of unit of value. As you can see here, each different unit of value creates the opportunity for, and sometimes necessitates, a different sales model. Selling an enterprise-wide HR platform such as Gusto requires a different sales model than selling a single license for LinkedIn Sales Navigator. The key point is to figure out your unit of value and then consider what type of sales model you need in order to sell that unit of value. As you'll see in the next piece here, market size also dictates your sales model, especially if you're a venture-backed company. Now let's take a deeper look at market size and how important it is in determining your sales model. Christoph Jans from Point9 Capital wrote a wonderful post called 5 Ways to Build a $100 Million Business. And this chart is a central piece of that blog post. I highly suggest you read it. A key takeaway is that markets have natural logarithmic breaks. Markets with thousands of customers, so-called elephants, or tens of thousands, so-called deer, or hundreds of thousands, so-called rabbits, up to tens and hundreds of millions of customers, so-called flies. These different size markets are represented on the x-axis, from left to right. On the y, or vertical axis, we use a logarithmic scale for the average revenue per account, or ARPA, or ARPA for short. Christoph's insight and his chart provides a simple, intuitive way to understand the minimum number of customers at a certain price point required to reach $100 million a year in sales. In this case, if we can get a share of 1 million customers in a mouse market, then we need to charge around $100 per customer per year to reach $100 million per year. It is super important to realize you don't get to charge higher prices for free. Larger ARPA, average revenue per account, and often complexity of sale, think about a $100,000 software deal, create enormous amounts of friction in the sales process, especially in B2B markets. The larger the price, the more people involved, the more sign-offs, more trials, pilots, legal, demo, etc., and etc. We can think about scaling up sales models starting with a no-touch or viral or freemium model at the bottom. Each of the models roughly aligns with a respective market, your animal, so to speak, on that diagonal. As we scale up from the bottom, sales friction increases. It might help to look at this side by side. Viewing it this way makes it easier to see that you begin to need an enterprise sales team to tackle $10,000 to $100,000 B2B deals. Here's an example of a model market alignment. It's a personal one for me. Rumbix is one of the startups I advise on go-to-market, and they offer a B2B SaaS software for the construction industry. Initially, Rumbix launched with a low CAC, or cost to acquire a customer model, offering a monthly per-user subscription. However, they soon realized it took far more resources to educate, sell, onboard, and support a new customer. So we moved to an inside sales model used with a typical vertical SaaS application sale. However, we realized the buyer's journey, that is, how the construction firms make purchase decisions, required a much higher touch. So we've now deployed a full enterprise sales model complete with an inside business development rep team, field account execs, technical sales, and we're buffing up customer success. This is a perfect example of iterating on the sales model to align it to the market. Well, that's a wrap on part 5 of this 7-part series. But before I let you go, I'd love to challenge you again on the 72-hour rule. Remember, put what you've learned to work within 3 days or risk losing it. And that's it. Thank you so much for following along this far and for spending so much of your valuable time with me. I really hope this was helpful. Please reach out to me and let me know your feedback, thoughts, questions, and be sure to check out the remaining parts of this series on aligning product and go-to-market to unlock growth for your startup. Thank you, be well, and go start something.